David McRaney, you are not so smart, why you have too many friends on Facebook, why your memory is mostly fiction, and 46 other ways you're deluding yourself. Welcome to a journey into understanding the hidden complexities of the human mind in the book summary of You Are Not So Smart by David McRaney. Our minds often deceive us into believing that we see the world objectively, but in reality, we're prone to biases, fallacies, and magical thinking. This summary will help you explore our inherent irrational tendencies when it comes to pattern recognition, decision-making, confirmation bias, the role of self-esteem, and the unconscious mind. As you follow through, you will see how our everyday behaviors and beliefs are influenced by the need to maintain a sense of coherence in our lives, often at the cost of truth and, at times, our own best interests.
The Illusion of Rationality. Humans are not as rational as we think we are. Instead of objectively observing the world around us, we apply order to random events and coincidences and trick ourselves into believing we can control them. This is because recognizing patterns was essential to our survival as ancient beings, and we have evolved to constantly look for patterns. However, this often leads us to see patterns where none exist and find meaning in random situations. Studies have shown that the more powerful a person feels, the more they believe they can predict unpredictable events. Additionally, many engage in magical thinking, in which they believe they can control the uncontrollable. In reality, humans are not always as rational as we would like to believe. Fabricated persuasions. Do we accurately understand the reasons behind our likes and decisions? Research shows that when we attempt to explain, we tend to invent fictions instead. Our mind has a blind spot that fabricates justifications and fills gaps of memory for a sense of continuity. Unaware of our thought processes, we make up reasons for our likes. In a study, subjects chose a stocking on the right without realizing its position affected their decision. Ignorance of how we make choices doesn't seem to bother us, we simply invent explanations and move on. Breaking the chains of confirmation bias. Many of us believe that our opinions are developed through rational analysis. In reality, our opinions are subjective due to our inclination towards confirmation bias. We prefer to consume information that confirms our beliefs, rather than learning new things. Various studies have shown that we tend to recall events that support our beliefs while disregarding contradicting evidence. Such tendencies limit our ability to make informed decisions and hold us back from embracing different perspectives. Understanding and overcoming confirmation bias is crucial for personal growth and intellectual development. Nurturing our self-esteem. Strategies we employ to maintain our self-esteem and the actions we take to avoid failure. Maintaining our self-esteem is crucial to our mental and emotional well-being. We employ various strategies to nurture our self-esteem daily. One such strategy is the tendency to take sole credit for our accomplishments while blaming others for our failures. This was evident from research findings in board games and examination results. We also use the successes and failures of others to judge our self-worth and boost our self-esteem. Studies show that every person thinks they are more popular than the next person. The majority of us believe that we are better performers than our colleagues, act more ethically than our friends, and are more intelligent than our peers. Another strategy used to sustain our self-esteem is called self-handicapping. Here, we fabricate excuses for an imagined future failure to avoid the risk of feeling terrible about ourselves when the failure occurs. This phenomenon is characterized by creating the very conditions for a future failure. A study focused on self-handicapping showed how most people chose a performance-inhibiting drug ahead of time to protect their self-esteem. Even when subjects were told that they had aced their test, they chose the drug they thought would inhibit performance, indicating that people create failure conditions ahead of time to excuse a potential failure. Thus, we inflate what we like about ourselves and create conditions for failure, all to maintain our self-esteem. Without it, life's daily challenges would be arduous. The power of the unconscious mind. Our unconscious mind plays a significant role in our behavior and decision-making, as evidenced by studies on guilt and money sharing. Although it constantly influences us, we are often not aware of its impact. The notion of the unconscious mind is often thought of as an enigma, a deeply primal aspect of ourselves beyond our comprehension. However, recent studies suggest that our unconscious mind has a more profound influence on our daily lives than we realize. Research on guilt and money sharing demonstrates that our unconscious minds play a significant role in our decision-making and behavior. In one study, participants were asked to recall a time when they had done something they considered sinful and to reflect on how it made them feel. Half of the subjects were then given the opportunity to wash their hands, while the other half were not. The participants were then asked to help a graduate student by participating in another study, with no financial incentive. The results showed that those who had washed their hands were less likely to feel guilty and thus less likely to help the graduate student. This suggests that the unconscious mind connected hand washing with purity, absolving individuals of their perceived sins. In another study, participants were shown either business-related or neutral images before playing a game where they could earn money. The business group was more likely to act selfishly while playing the game, keeping more money than the neutral group who divided the money more evenly. Interestingly, when asked about their behavior afterward, none of the participants mentioned the images they had been exposed to before the game. This highlights the fact that our unconscious mind exerts a profound influence on our behavior without our awareness. These studies showcase the power of the unconscious mind and highlight the fact that it constantly influences us. Despite this, we remain largely ignorant of its influence. Understanding this phenomenon and its impact could lead to a better understanding of ourselves and our decision-making processes. The illusion of uniqueness. We tend to overestimate our skills and uniqueness while underestimating others. Our egocentric thinking makes it difficult for us to see ourselves as average. We delude ourselves into thinking that we draw more attention to ourselves than we actually do. Most of us have thought of ourselves as especially talented or special in some way. However, research has shown that we tend to overestimate our skills and uniqueness while underestimating those of others. When we succeed in something, we boast about it, but when we fail, we try to forget it. We also have a tendency to focus on the positive while ignoring the negative aspects of our achievements. Although we tend to downplay our drawbacks, we often view the events of our lives as more significant than those of others. It makes it challenging to see ourselves as average and threatens our self-esteem. Consequently, we try to affirm our uniqueness and end up overestimating how special we are. Additionally, we deceive ourselves by thinking we draw more attention to ourselves than we actually do. For example, a study conducted on a competitive video game showed that all participants were more focused on their own performance and less on others. However, all of them felt that others were paying close attention to their playing skills. In conclusion, although it can be essential for our self-esteem to think that we're special, the truth is, we're not as skilled or unique as we believe. The bystander effect and our prejudices. Have you ever wondered why people are less likely to help someone in distress when others are around? This phenomenon is called the bystander effect, and it decreases our inclination to help others when there are witnesses. This effect was demonstrated in the tragic story of Kitty Genovese, whose screams for help were ignored by 38 witnesses during a knife attack. Our prejudices also contribute to our behavior, as we tend to jump to conclusions about a person based on stereotypes and generalizations. We may judge a parent who continues to shop while their child cries, without considering that they might be having a bad day. Awareness of these tendencies can help us to be more compassionate and less judgmental in our interactions with others. The power of authority. Do you think you would refuse to follow unethical orders from an authority figure? This summary presents two cases that are disturbingly similar, showing how easy it is for ordinary people to become instruments of authority. The author highlights two experiments that prove that most of us would comply when given orders from someone we believe to be an expert. This summary challenges the notion of individuality and calls for greater awareness of the power dynamics in play in our daily lives.
In conclusion, You Are Not So Smart demystifies the human psyche by shedding light on our irrational tendencies and cognitive biases. It demonstrates how our need for coherence influences our behaviors, beliefs, and decision-making, often leading us to ignore reality and fabricate reasons to justify our actions. This book's summary highlights the importance of self-awareness and critical thinking in overcoming such pitfalls, and fostering a more nuanced understanding of ourselves and the world. It encourages us to reflect on our inherent patterns of thought and transforms our approach to complex challenges in life. The insights presented in this summary are a valuable resource for anyone seeking to gain a deeper understanding of the fascinating intricacies of the human mind, and the ways in which we continually deceive ourselves.